number 83. Kevin Brumbaugh is number 86. Bob Reed is number 12. Christopher Kears is 11th. Lights are out. 21st is David Petsko, 00. James Morgan. Austin Holtgrove, 32 cars. Number 16, Stephen Rue. Jonathan, I'm going to give you over the start so they can come into Mission Foods Turn 1 here at the Mission Speed Tour.
And already a spinner. Just under acceleration out of 10. He'll spin it round and get back up, but as you can see, they are forming up very nicely indeed as they go past our commentary position, and we are away as the FRP begins its 2023 season. A huge field of some 32 cars creating a massive rooster tail in the midfield. Must be so hard to see as they dive for the first time upwards towards turn 1 and 2 over that blind crest into the grey clouds that are still around here, but luckily no rain falling, but a lot on the track as they head down 3, 4 and snaking through to the bottom of the hill, where again there'll be a whole bunch of water to greet them, and you can see it for yourself as they slip slide. Oh gosh, treacherous conditions, but boy, they're hanging on in there. This is racing, folks. Really good stuff. Well done, boys and girls.
Yeah, coming through that polished line, it looks like they're just running the race line. Looks like Eli Navarro's getting a challenge here up front as they come through Three-Dimensional Services Group Turn 6. Look at this. It looks like the rooster tail of the mist isn't really bothering. This is some really hard racing here. And Formula Regional Promotions F1600 brought to you by Hoosier.
Yeah, this is really impressive, to be honest. I thought it'd be a bit more gingerly going through it, but as you can see, out of 7 onto the main long back straight, and already there's a man in, 5th place looking for a way into 4th, and not quite sure who that is yet, but we'll get it all together, and once we get some timing of it, we'll find out exactly who's where, but a good clean start, to be honest, Ben. I'm impressed. Yeah. But this is going to be the challenge in here.
Eli Navarro's first place, Theodore Burns second, and third, Jack Sullivan in that 19. This is so much fun to watch. These are equally yoked race cars. This is all driver talent, and now we're really seeing driver talent in wet conditions like this as Eli Navarro really pulls a gap.
Yeah, pole position man Navarro did a 1:30.6 in qualifying and is already starting to extend that lead as the chasing pack, including this man, the number 73, coming through shot now.
You can really see the suspensions moving on these Formula Fords. Inboard shocks. You can really see how quickly, oh, he gets a little bit slippy there coming down the Bridge Hall Bennett S's. You can see the rooster tail, and that's where the water really pulls. You can see him really getting sideways there. Some fantastic driving and recovery there.
So we are underway, and the man I was referring to a moment ago was the Robert Perona in the 73. He's in a Piper DL7 now. Somebody's in the pits. That's not a scheduled pit stop, and it is car number 11. That's Dudley Fleck. And in fact, that's Chris Curse, as you can see.
Yeah, you're gonna have to excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. Our grid sheets don't have the numbers.
Yeah, so
we're gonna be struggling. But Eli Navarro still up front, followed by Theodore Burns, followed by Porter Aiken. But look at this battle right here. As we were talking about, drafting is so important, but there's no room for that yellow car to come out because he's got the red car to the right of him as they come into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers. And it looks like there's
full course yellow. We are under safety. Yeah, that was, by the way, Christopher Curse, as you quite rightly point out. We haven't our sheets don't have the numbers on, but Chris Curse is in the pits in that 2014 Spectrum. But we are under caution now, and as you can see, the hands going up just to let those chasing know that we are definitely going to caution. And I think it'll be because somebody has gone off at one of the corners. We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah, I saw somebody between turn 5 and 6 in a pretty dangerous spot. There's the number 98. So if you're joining us, we have a lot of comments. We've got a bunch of people going for the DeFonts dudes. We've got Northeast Ohio from Mateo. Dustin Hodges has joined us. So Dustin right here. And so if you're joining us here on Speed Tour on YouTube, we've got Colorado joining us from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
By the way, that was Michael Bulsacacelli. I'm going to see if Justin. Oh, he's put his thumbs up. Dust, I got it right. We got it right, buddy. Morning, Dustin. How are you,
Hey,
mate?
some of these names are real. I mean, Goikberg, Hulk Gravy.
Goldberg's one of the few we know.
You've
He's
said that a
Trans
few
Am regular.
times.
Well, welcome aboard.
So this
Why
is
don't
going to
you
get
introduce
entered.
him, Ben?
Yeah, this is my friend Dustin Hodges. We've known each other for a long time. He's done some stuff with us in the Trans Am series, but this is his love, these open wheel cars. So Dustin, actually, when we come back from commercial, Dustin is going to explain this class to us. So stay tuned for the Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour.
The Ridge Speed Tour returns to Ridge Motorsports Park June 9th through 11th, featuring the Trans Am Series Western Championship, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Oregon and Northwest Region SCCAs, and the Emerald Cup. Saturday, take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Labs. You do not want to miss the Ridge Speed Tour June 9th through 11th. Family ticket discounts and camping is available. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to ridgemotorsportspark.com.
All right, welcome back. Dustin Hodges, our, I guess, resident expert on F1600 and FRP. Explain this to the people that are watching this for the first time.
Guys, this is one of the entry-level classes. There are kids out here that are 13 years old. This is a crazy class. This is a lot of where the future stars of America come from. This is a world class. They run this all over the place, big in Europe, and pretty much every star that you see racing IndyCar, Formula One, this is where they came from. There are no wings, very little horsepower. It's a right out of karts, straight into cars, great training ground, and as you can see, it attracts a lot of people with 30-plus cars this weekend. And just like we anticipated, in this rain session, one lap, and we went full course caution, because these guys are really going at it because they have a career on the line.
Yeah, and we've seen this, and we talk about this, that Formula Ford, Formula V, F1600, Formula 4 seem to be where people go into, and it's so difficult, and I hope you don't take offense to this, to drive a slow car fast, and it's all about driver talent there. This is where you can really see the difference between driver talent, because they're on equally yoked machines. So if a driver really stands out in this class, that means they've got a lot of talent.
Oh, absolutely. It's very momentum-based. You don't have that horsepower to rely on. You can't just screw up a corner and just go full throttle and make it happen. You really have to work the car, and you're absolutely right. It can definitely separate the good from the great.
I drove a Formula First in New Zealand a couple of months ago, and it was, you know, like you say, it's not the fastest car, but that's what I enjoyed about it. I'm not a racing driver. I talk about it, I don't do it. I'd love to do it, but what I loved about it, because it's a very similar car, is the fact that it's not scary. It's fast enough to scare you if you start pushing, but it's enough where you can be a complete, you know, amateur and get out there, and as you mentioned, some kids out here, you know, so it's one of those formulas where you know, you jump into it like a go-kart. You're not frightened of it, but to get that last couple of 3 or 4 tenths, then really, and I can see that there's a lot of these guys who've got plenty of it, you know, real experience behind them. But that's what I love about it. In my small experience of a few laps, was that, you know, I really felt comfortable.
It is, and it is amazing. You know, we call these the slow Formula cars, but it's really interesting. My brother actually just drove one of these for the first time last weekend, and he's done track day Mustangs and stuff, a lot of horsepower. And the first thing he said when he got out of this car was, "This thing's really fast." And to us, it's not, but to somebody who's learning, it is definitely a high-speed car.
Yeah, and you feel all of the inputs, you know. In racing cars like this, I race slow vintage cars, but you feel everything. You're so close to the ground. You feel everything, and everything is all about the driver input. You know, there is a little bit of setup with these teams, but really this is a great way, and I know that there's IndyCar teams and Formula teams. They're scouting talent from this actual division of racing here with the F1600.
Oh, absolutely. Last year at Pittsburgh, Mr. Chip Ganassi himself flew in a chopper to watch a couple races and kind of see what was coming through on the next crop of talent. So this is the place to prove if you want to be the next generation of racers.
So they're coming in here. You can see from the drone into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers 10A, 10B. You can see the pooling go across there, and we were wondering, you know, different racetracks call for different lines in the race. I'm not seeing them really running a race line. They're not running the anti-line. They're running the polished line, and the line here is polished, meaning like if you've ever walked across a marble floor that was wet, that's what the racing line feels like here with these Hoosier tires. So we're going to see, I've seen Eli Navarro go a little bit deeper, and he's leading the race, so maybe he's found some grip that some of the other drivers haven't.
Yeah, it's usually you have a general thing at every track. If it has grip in the dry, it's going to be slick in the wet. And it seems like Road Atlanta doesn't really have that. You're right, they're hitting normal apexes, they're running through those puddles, and usually you want to avoid all that, but it does seem to be working, especially for Eli. He's got a lot of experience. He ran USF 2000 last year. So some people would say it's a step down. I don't know. With this 35-car field, it's pretty deep field.
This looks like a really fun racing. So I have a question. Chris Stifler saying how many are Mygale chassis in the top 10? So how many different chassis manufacturers are there in this?
So there's a few different. The Mygale is the most popular chassis at the moment because it was the newest car from 2010 to 2014. And I think that's all the Rice cars, all the Pelfrey cars are all Mygales. Then there's also the Spectrum, which is the cars that we run. And then as Dave Livingston has a Spectrum, and then there's also a couple Pipers. I think there's a Van Diemen out there, and then there's a couple one-offs that guys have built. So it's really, that's one of the cool things about this class. You can actually build one of these cars in your garage and come out and go racing.
So it's kind of like IndyCar from the 50s and 60s in a way, and there's still some innovation happening out there. And you can see the little air scoops on the side are different from each car. So there are different chassis, different body designs going on out there as they come into three-dimensional services group turn 6. That's the only banked corner here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, but this is always one of my favorite tracks to come to. I have yet to meet a driver who has said from any rank, I've got Road Atlanta dialed in. Nobody feels like they're fully confident. They love this track, but I've never heard somebody say I've had a perfect lap here.
But I think part of that problem is that a lot of this, from what I hear from drivers, you go on the simulator and you do this and that, and you try these different things, you watch videos, and then they get here and they say, oh, the elevation is way more than I thought. Oh, look at that.
Lights are out. So we're going to give it over to, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us for the first time, Jonathan Green announces everything. He loves the open wheel cars, just flew in from New Zealand to join us, and I love hearing him announce the starts and the restarts. So just for my own personal validation, Jonathan, if you'll take it and do this start.
No problem. Yeah, I came especially from Auckland to do this. No, I live in Austin, Texas. Come on. Navarro, Aitken, Burns, that's what we've got at the front of this, but it could be anybody's game coming through 10. You can still see that river of water there as they get ready to go racing again. Everybody will be eyeing up the track. That's what's so useful, actually, about a caution period. Coming down the hill then, we're about to go to green, and away they go. Across the strip they come, past our commentary position, already jostling for position. Up the inside now, and a great position move there for the lead, as Aitken, I think it is, who takes the lead away halfway through this race and up the hill again under racing conditions. We are running again.
Nice call, Jonathan. Yeah, that's Porter Aitken taking first place, and we even had Sam Harrington was saying, watch for Porter Aitken to take it into turn 1, and that's exactly what he did as he comes through Bridge Hall Bennett. You can see the polished line in those rooster's tails, and now for the first time, Eli Navarro is right there in the wash of these cars. You can see the rain lights in the back, but Dustin, what's Eli Navarro looking for here?
Well, Eli's definitely trying to just, if he's doing what I think he should do, but he's not, but I was going to say sit in the draft and run away. Those two cars could check out right now. They have a great opportunity to keep the battle just between them.
If they work together.
If they work together. But it looks like Eli's not content on sitting in second, and he is 2 by 2 going through the corners. All that's going to do is let Burns and Perona catch up to him and keep that fight going. But
so
it looks
now
like
he
they
needs
got
to
the
slip
gap.
into the draft. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially down that long back straightaway. It's really uphill until you get right about here, and then it starts dropping off as you go down towards 10. And yeah, see, they've got that draft. He's going to try and take the lead here. Porter Aitken has come a long way. He ran all last year, and they are getting close.
Look at that.
It's Who Dares wins at this point. Look at this. Great stuff. Side by side through 10, A and B. Nothing between them. Navarro back in the lead.
Unbelievable talent there displayed by both drivers, Porter Aitken, Eli Navarro. That is a very tough corner, very tough spot to pass in through a river. Here comes Eli Navarro into Mission Foods Turn 1 at the Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour. This is unbelievable.
He's not letting him up the inside this time. He took a very wide route, i.e. middle of the road, to make sure he couldn't get lost on the inside there, as Naranjo in the 80 in 5th place, and there's going to be a real battle for the top 4 for sure in the closing stages of this one. Look at this.
I can tell you one thing, those painted curbs are not friendly in the wet. These guys are risking a lot here dropping wheels up on that.
And do they have, I'm sure they have tear-offs on their helmets if they get a bunch of muck on there, but man, unbelievable.
Yeah, they don't work so great in the rain. The water can get in between them sometimes, and it can make it almost worse. A lot of times drivers will just wipe it with their glove when it gets pretty bad, and that's with these open wheel cars. I think that's one of the reasons Eli keeps trying to take it to the lead, is it's a lot friendlier of a drive in the rain if you're out front.
Yeah, well, if you're not behind the wash of somebody. We got great shots there. Callum Baxter in that white car, number 65. But let's see now. This is where Porter can come up. This is kind of like, in your class, a DRS zone. Getting the draft, really, you can feel it, you can hear it. You get sucked in there, and it looks like he's got a lot more power, but really, that's just the draft. He's having to cut less of a hole. So it's almost like coming into turn 8, you want to be in 2nd place on the last lap. Ooh, hard on the brakes there, locking it up just a little bit through Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers 10A, getting sideways. Eli Navarro, some unbelievable talent in this group, Dustin.
Yeah, it really looks like he's got a much better brake zone going in there. He really caught Aiken going into that brake zone. And yeah, if they work together, they can use that draft to run away. If they don't fight in the corners, they just keep switching on the straightaway, it's almost like having 2 engines in one car. And they can really check out. It's looked like what they're trying to figure out now, if they can decide who wants to lead this pack.
Jonathan Lee in the blue car leading this pack against another Rice car there. Jonathan Lee going up against Misha Goikberg in that blue car, and then the yellow car comes just outside.
You know, it's good having Misha out there because we know how good he is. He's one of our top drivers in Trans Am. And we've also got Tony Arve out there, who's got a huge history of racing, not just Trans Am, but many forms of racing. So it's a good benchmark to see, because if he's midfield, it just shows you how good the guys in front from our point of view.
White flag next time by. There's a great shot there of Misha Goikberg. We know him as one of the most aggressive fun racers in the Trans Am series, but unbelievable as they come into 3-dimensional services group turn 6. Great shots. I love the color scheme, the liveries of these Rice cars. I like that blue and pink. But here we go. There's the leaders. What are you seeing, Dustin, from this draft?
Well, it looks like Eli's got him set up right. He knows this is the last lap. He's not going for the pass right now. He's got the message from his team, we're going white flag next time by. Right. So it looks to me like he's content. He's going to sit there. I would imagine that Eli makes the pass next time by going into this corner here.
Yeah, I feel like Eli now,
he knows what he can do.
Strategically should just stay there.
Yep.
And then come in. So let's see what happens. But if you know Misha Goikberg, which you do, you know that he's not content sitting anywhere.
No. When we go back to Jonathan Lee there, we were talking about a minute ago, the thing that's really impressive about Lee, that's a Swift DB6. That was built in the 80s.
Wow.
That's probably older than half the people watching this live stream right now. And it's amazing he's able to keep that car up there in the top 10 with these brand new cars.
Chris Stifler's asking, with the drying track, will tire management be a factor? I don't think so. It hasn't dried enough. Maybe 20 more minutes. You can see the racing line is starting to dry off, but that shouldn't do anything. Hoosier makes some really great racing tires. These are going to last. But look, just like you said, Eli Navarro, if he just stays here behind, and look for him in about 3 corners, he comes through Bridge Hall Bennett turn 5, coming into 3-dimensional services turn 6. There was a car off there, but I think in a safe spot. We're on the final lap, so look for him after turn 7 to try to get ahead of him through this draft.
Absolutely. The back straightaway is where you make the pass here. You can do it going into turn 6, but you're just going to lose it down the back straight again. And there's that would be my brother.
There you go. So now's your time to roast your brother.
He isn't new to racing. It's a new thing for him, but he kept it off the wall, kept it running, back going.
There you go.
It's a good, rookies make mistakes.
All right, well, let's see where we are in this draft for the lead. So what's your brother's name?
Austin Holtgravy.
All right.
There we go. One that nobody can pronounce.
He's trying to jink out.
Going into turn 10.
Big machine.
That's what I
Takes the
said.
outside sideways.
Eli!
That was one of those moments.
And
one person was going to make it through that. And look at that. You could tell he's disgusted with himself. 18 years old from Indianapolis, spoke to his dad. He probably knows he had this race won, but there's our leader and winner, Porter Aiken, followed by Mateo, followed by Robert Perona, Callum Baxter, Jonathan Lee, Misha Goikberg, Dylan DeFonts, and then from a points perspective, he should have probably said, I'm just going to come in second, but now he's going to go last to the points leaderboard. We're going to see if Eli Navarro, what he can do here in the second race, but congratulations, Porter Aiken. What a fantastic race. We saw a great display of talent there, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely, and you're right. This is a 21 race championship, and it's a long season, and that P2 that Eli just kind of tossed would have come a long way to taking him a title this year. But yeah, you know, sometimes drivers want that win, man. And he knew he had a faster car. He just, you know, picked the wrong spot.
I did not see any contact. That was great, clean racing by both Eli Navarro and Porter Aiken. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I have a bro comment from Ayrton Hawk. And name pronunciation is Mateo Naranjo. So sorry about that, but thank you for clearing up. We'll fix that next time. How cool was that? What a great race. F1600. I can't wait for race number 2. Hoosier Tires providing some of the best racing tires we've seen. Just that river coming across there. Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers 10A that Porter Aiken's coming into right now. You could really see that river, and I think Eli Navarro just hit the worst of it right there.
Yeah, he was hard on the brakes trying to go deep.
He waves to his competitor.
I don't know if that made Eli feel good or worse.
No, that was like Al Jr. coming out of Fittipaldi at Indy. You know, did he give him a thumbs up? We never know. Unbelievable. So great racing here, Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta.
Man.
We've got great racing coming up.
Got 2 more of these races with these guys this weekend. This is insane.
I love it. And you'll join us some more?
Absolutely. I'm going to be back all afternoon for all the wings and things and Formula Car groups, and hopefully help you guys figure all this out.
All right, so here are the results. In first, Porter Aiken, followed by Mateo Naranjo. Robert Perona third. Callum Baxter, great race, number 4. Jonathan Lee, 5th. Misha Goikberg, 6th. Dylan DeFont, 7th. And number 8, Theodore Burns. Jack Sullivan, 9th. David Adorno in 10th. And then where did your brother finish?
He's probably going to be down near the back, considering he just spun. There's our other driver, BJ Shaw, another rookie we have this year, finishing in top 15.
11th. Joe Calisaco, nice job, 12th. Timothy Steele, David Livingston, BJ Shaw, Scott Rubenzer, Charles Ante, Ken Bequillen, Steve Jenks, and Bob Reed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a great start to the Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour. Dustin Hodges, thank you so much for joining us. We've got both paddocks full here, and unbelievable. I would call that a wet race. And I'm not sure if the cars are pulling down to the podium.
They should take the top 3 over to the podium, so you'll have, and then the top driver and masters. So you'll have Perona, and then the top 4 guys that finish that race will be over there on the podium here in a minute. I think they take them through impound first, weigh them, make sure everybody's legal, and then they'll go hand out some hardware.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send it off to commercial so we can try to get a little bit of this winner's circle. Unbelievable racing, Formula Regional Promotions, F1600, brought to you by Hoosier Tire. Dustin Hodges, thanks for joining me. Go high-five your drivers, and we're going to take a little break with commercials.
Absolutely. See you back in a little bit.
The Ridge Speed Tour returns to Ridge Motorsports Park June 9th through 11th, featuring the Trans Am Series Western Championship, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Oregon and Northwest Region SCCAs, and the Emerald Cup. Saturday, take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Labs. You do not want to miss the Ridge Speed Tour June 9th through 11th. Family ticket discounts and camping is available. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to ridgemotorsportspark.com.
That bush is really coming along. Hi, Carla. What are you up to?
Oh, I just spent the whole morning having a little battery-powered fun.
I can see that.
This thing is powerful.
Hey, honey. I was just gushing about our new favorite toy.
Let me tell you, the battery life on this thing, you wouldn't believe it. Sometimes we need a little extra push to get there. Sometimes, hey, I let it do all the work for me.
And it has so many different settings. All right, Joel. Ready to go again?
You should join us sometime.
I've got to get me one of those.
Okay, so pretend this is your car, and say you have an accident. Ouch. At least your insurance will pay for another one. Right? Well, maybe not so much. If you have a standard policy, they get to decide what your car was worth, which could mean trouble. I mean, who wants 3/4 of a car? At Hagerty, we agree on a value up front and then pay that amount, guaranteed. That's because we want you to end up with a whole car. Hagerty, let's drive together.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Well, welcome back. I'm just here with a 99. He's just got out of the car, and I can see he's absolutely drenched, soaking wet. Porter Aitken, great run, but it kind of was not the expected finish. First and foremost, tell me about the conditions.
It was surprisingly wet out there for it not being raining. There was rivers running across the track on the top of the S's. The first few laps, when I started in fourth behind the 3 other drivers, you just couldn't see anything. So it was mainly just watch the rain light in front of you and hope you don't spin out.
Interesting finish. Navarro suddenly disappeared. Did you see what happened?
Yeah, he tried to run out on the outside of me down into 10A. We were alongside through 10A, and then I guess he caught a little bit of rubber on the track and ended up looping it into the sand. We didn't end up making contact, but it was definitely a great race from Eli, and he's a fantastic rain driver.
You got to be happy with that. Great way to start the season.
I definitely am. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well, great shots here at the drone. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We are going to be out here for the Trans Am races, so make sure you stay tuned. In just a few hours, we're going to be doing a fan walk and a grid walk, so stay tuned. Join us on Speed Tour TV. But that does it for the first race. What a great race here at Mission Foods Atlanta.